Hi, this is John Ferrian here. I'm with the Washington State Snowmobile Association. I'm here managing the AVALANCHE Safety trailer here at the Snow Show, the annual Snow Show and Expo. It's 2019, the annual Snow Show. And we also here in our section in this corner of the building, we have the Northwest Avalanche Center. We have Kittitas County Search and Rescue here in a booth next to us. And we also have Snowmobile Washington. There's an app that's available. And so we've tied this whole corner of the building together to really make it kind of an education corner of the Snow Show. And we're interacting with people and just trying to share safety information this weekend. So that's me, and that's what I'm about.
So do you think that we as snowmobilers are better prepared than we used to be? We still have a long way to go. How would you classify that?
It's a really interesting question, and I think the answer is it depends, right? It's kind of an interesting angle here is what I've witnessed is overall as an industry is we are more prepared overall, right? I think people through social media is a huge part of it, and that's why videos like this are so critical, is getting the message and the information out there in a positive way through social media. And there's other ways as well, but that seems to be a key thing there. But there's also there's a whole other segment of people who I would call maybe fair weather snowmobilers who maybe aren't actively engaged. And this is something that just I'm sure like Snow West that I struggle with is like you find this core group of hardcore riders that are into it and you've got their attention, right? But what about everybody else? Like how do we touch them? How do we interact with them? How do we educate them? And like my theory is someday, some way, we all need to figure out how to tie into all of these dealerships, because every snowmobiler out there, really the dealership, everybody has to go into and engage with those dealerships. So to me, that's the next phase of it, is taking everything we're doing on social media and how do we tie in all of our dealerships that are out there to help, you know, kind of bridge the gap between those fair weather sledders that are just in buying oil once or twice a year versus the folks who are on social media and living and breathing sledding like those who follow Snow West.
So if I were to make you pick 3 things that we're least prepared, or in the manner that we're least prepared, what might those be?
No, that's a great question, and I think it's a couple of things. I think sometimes we just don't know what we don't know, right? And I think a lot of it, and probably the most obvious thing I could say, is probably avalanche awareness and education, right? I think there's a lot of folks who, as the industry has grown, people are embracing buying the equipment, the safety equipment, and I think there's a pretty large percentage of folks who are out there buying like beacons, shovels, probes, now even airbags sometimes. But if you interview all of those and survey all of those same people, I think there's probably a big gap in education. And frankly, education is that one piece that you can have education and no equipment, and I would much rather ride with you than having somebody who has all the equipment in the world with no education, right? That piece of education is the glue that holds all of it together and allows you to be successful using those tools, which are the safety equipment that you're using.
So pretty much there are safety courses, avalanche courses all over the West, which is what Snow West covers.
Yeah.
So nobody really has an excuse for not finding one.
Yeah.
So is there one central place that you would send people to say, look, you go to this website, you'll find out what you need to know?
Yeah, well the cool part is there is one central website that does allow everybody to kind of have a starting place, and usually it ties them back into their local avalanche centers, which is where you'll find most of their local resources.
Yep.
But avalanche.org is a national website here in the United States. I think it's avalanche.ca up in Canada. And those are the 2 places that are pretty tied in, and you can click into it. For example, here in Washington State, you have, you know, you go into avalanche.org and you click into Washington State, and eventually it's going to take you to our local avalanche center, which is the Northwest Avalanche Center, NWAC. And there, that's where you're going to get all that local information, that local data. You'll be able to tie into the local website that has all of the local education and training that's available to you, right? So everything from basic awareness classes to like one-day classes that are going to give you a combination of some education in classroom and a companion rescue course, for example. And then it'll take you to that next level, which is where everybody should go, which is that level 1 class, which is 3 days of training, 24 hours of total training over 3 days. So that's really the goal that everybody should be shooting for. Okay,
aside from avalanches, what other safety issues do you see?
I think it's just group dynamics and being out there and riding safely, right? I mean, I'm a big advocate for people joining clubs. I literally just outside here, right before we did this interview, spent a serious amount of time talking to an individual who's new to the sport, wants to get into it. And the best advice I give everybody is join a local club. You're going to find folks who are like-minded, they're advocates for the sport, they're generally more safety-minded than your average sledder out there, and they're going to be able to show you areas and stuff, they're going to mentor you. These are the type of people that are wanting to bring new people like you in and show you around. And frankly, even the folks who are out there as, you know, these hardcore riders and sledders and shredders, right? That land won't be out there forever, right? If we don't take care of it and we don't fight the battles that we need to fight. And that's where these clubs and state associations are so critical to be part of and support. Even if you don't go to the meetings and be part of it physically, just supporting them financially really helps keep things moving. The Washington State Snowmobile Association, for example, they're fighting those battles, and they're meeting with legislators, and they're all on your behalf, making sure that we have continued access and successful snowmobile program.
So you would say it really is strength in numbers?
It is absolutely strength in numbers. And
so tell me about the Washington State Association. Why do they invest this kind of money in a trailer?
Yeah.
Having someone like you do all this, why would they do that? I mean, besides the obvious reasons, but why? What's the motivation there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the snow show as a whole, right? I mean, the snow show here, it does a lot of things. It's positive growth of the sport, right? You tie the business partners to the nonprofits all in one place and all in one, under one roof. And then you bring in the snowmobile public. And I think this show, I see folks that I know personally through social media, and then I see a lot of strange faces that I've never met before that I know are riders from all over the state that maybe aren't there and engage with us all the time. But this is our opportunity to bring them in. And having a beacon of safety like this safety trailer that we're in today is an opportunity to kind of catch people, make them stop in their tracks, and look at what we're doing. Another way we've managed this is over at the Avalanche Center booth right next door. We have a snowmobile from 2 years ago that was caught in an avalanche and it was a Skidoo 850, and the thing is completely in two pieces, front half and back half. And again, another way to kind of stop people in their tracks, have them pause for a minute, and let us have a conversation with them and just ask them questions of, what are you doing in the backcountry? How can we help you? How can we help you with your education journey to make sure that you're making every trip a round trip?
But you know what? Maybe I only ride trails for the most part. What would you tell me?
That's a great question, and actually just answered that question 5 minutes ago out here. And the answer I tell you is that I've ridden many, many trails, specifically in the mountainous regions and here in Washington State. And I have not yet been on a trail that I haven't looked up or looked down and seen myself in avalanche terrain. Maybe not the whole trail, but there's always at least one part of the trail where we're there. And I've had literally on a trail, I've had my entire group of I think 6 riders at one point be cut in half by an avalanche. I came around the corner, I was the tail guy, and I came around the corner and half my group was on one side of the avalanche, the other half was the other avalanche. And we were on an area that people would consider a very novice area, and the avalanche danger was just that high at that point. It wasn't a devastating avalanche, but it can happen at any point in time.
So where will we see this trailer this winter?
So this winter, that's a great question as well. So the next few snow shows, we've got the Puyallup Snow Show this weekend, October 19th and 20th. The next opportunity to see this trailer is going to be at the Spokane Snow Show over in Spokane, Washington, and that'll be on November 9th. And then we'll have it in Leavenworth, Washington on November 16th. And then by then, snow should be falling, right?
It's already falling.
Yeah, exactly. Snow should be rideable falling, hopefully, here locally then is what we're shooting for. And we're actually at the beginning stages of talking about a partnership of using this exact trailer in the snow parks this winter to continue on some of those one-day safety education classes where we can do the classroom session in this heated trailer. We have a TV monitor in here, education materials, a desk to work off of, and we can do a half-day training class here in a heated trailer, and then everybody will have their snowmobiles here and they can head out for their companion rescue part of the course for the day. And we're hoping to do at least 3 of those sessions throughout the winter. Other than that, community events, sometimes parades around the winter time, midwinter, there's different festivals and parades that we'll try to have it showcased.
And you'll be at the state convention, I assume. Yeah,
the Wausau Winter Rendezvous, which is the winter in February. I will be there as well, and we'll have the trailer there as well. So.
Any final thoughts?
No, I mean the big thing I would just share with you is that here at the snow show, I mean we're just trying to tie this whole corner of safety together, and we're trying to make it fun, right? And a little piece that we'll share with you too is anybody who knows me knows my name. You might recognize I do a show called John Ferrian Live, and it's a podcast, and it's based all around all this work that I do, and it's my way to tie in WASA and NWAC and all these things that we have to be able to share a message of safety and positive growth of the sport. And we've had a lot of incredible guests like you've seen here today. I know you're going to see clips of Brett Rasmussen, for example.
Right.
Brett has been on the show. We've interviewed him and talked about avalanche education and safety and what it means to him and his team. That's just one small snapshot of it. So if you get an opportunity to follow me and see what's going on, it's a great opportunity to learn even more.
Okay, remind us of the websites to go to.
Yeah, so the Washington State Snowmobile Association, obviously you can go there. The Northwest Avalanche Center is nwac.us. those are the core two here in Washington State. So
perfect. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.